we're getting tighter. The run game, I felt like we had some good runs. When you're not tackling and it's touch off, a lot of these 3-4 yard gains are really 6 or 8 or more. And I told our guys after that, we did a live Skelly session where we got a chance to have our DBs tackle in space when we catch balls, and some of those 4-yard completions during a team tag-off period were really 8 to 10, so it's a little deceiving there at times. We got to break tackles, and our guys did a pretty good job of that today. So, but I think overall we've thrown a lot at them, and we're kind of at that point now where, okay, let's dial in and just work those over and over and over and get to where we rep them and we're good at them. And so that's where we're at right now. And then we're still trying different combinations up front, in the backfield, receiver-wise. We've got a guys kind of a little dinged up that we're still waiting to get back maybe next week that add to that group. So we feel pretty good as coaches where we're at and with what we have in. And now it's just dialing in the little things that really help you execute and win a game.
What did you accomplish, and what did you guys do today during the scrimmage?
Well, a situation like this is good for the coaches because you're getting personnel in. We didn't have the headsets up. They're getting reconditioned. So sometimes with the music, that's hard to relay to the next guy and get that in an efficient manner. But I felt like we did a pretty good job of that. And so from a coaching standpoint, it's good to work those things and play calls and yelling personnel right away and some of those mechanics that I got to keep myself from coaching other positions right after a play and quit yelling at those guys and get the next play in, So logistically, those are some things we wanted to see as coaches. And then just the guys out there in the huddle having to communicate themselves. What's the down and distance? Where are we at? What's the situation? Alert blitz, all those things that need to happen in a huddle. So it's good for us to be able to have these situations and work situational parts of the game as well, like we did with kind of backed up coming out and then going in. It's a little different mindset at times for play calling where you may be 4-down territory. And as a play caller, we're working those situations always. So that helps. And then when you come game time, you've done it before and you're ready to go.
If you had a list of objectives for your quarterbacks in terms of like priorities, what you want them to accomplish, what would be at the top of the list right now?
Knowing where to go with it, understanding the reads for each concept. So, we've got, like I said, a lot in and lots going through their head, and we're starting to get to that point now where we're taking it to the 3rd, 4th level where, okay, I understand it's been maybe tight end to receiver, and now that back comes into play because we're starting to see, a backer rotates, we get to a check down a little quicker. So that's good to see. It's good to know that our quarterbacks are understanding it, they're starting to get it, and they're getting more reps at it, so it becomes more natural for them. They don't have to hold it and look and try to find people. And so that's objective number one.
Ty, are you more confident in your play calling abilities or in your players right now?
Always more confident in our players, right? Players make plays. So, you're never going to call the perfect play. You got to have options for them and then have them understand when those options come into play. And that's kind of where we're getting to right now. Our QBs are starting to understand that if we get roll strong, we work weak side, all those things that come into a play, that options that you talk about, but they've got to see it. And so I'll always be more confident in our players making plays. You've seen what they've done over the last few years, just ad-libbing and making plays to win games. And so we don't want to take that away from them, but at the same time, coach them up to where they don't have to do that as often.
Obviously, a lot has changed since you were a player in fall camp, now back here as a coach. What's been the biggest difference for you going from the player role and quarterback to now the coach's role in fall camp?
Getting here at 6:30 in the morning and leaving at 7, 7:30, 8 o'clock. So as a player, it's easy. You show up before practice or for meetings. They tell you when to be everywhere, and now you're organizing those things. So coaching is definitely more work, but it's fun when you see it work too, and you know that the time that they've spent pays off, that the hours and the workouts and the meetings, when you see them get it and we execute a play, it's like, yes, that's what you put all that time in for.
We're standing on BYU football's sacred ground here. Do you have specific memories for specific parts of the field when you're out here?
No, I never thought of that part of it. We had some pretty good memories all over it. So when you play for 3.5 years, you're going to have, special moments all over the field, But when you see some of the old highlights, you throw to Matt Bellini in the corner here against Miami, or you scramble and hit Salito over. All the action happened on this end, I think, of that game. So this end's a little better on the south end. Plus, it's closer to Texas.
You could
The real truth.
Yeah, you could pull from a lot of different influence. Your playing days, those different offense, your NFL days. What are some of the biggest influences on your play calling from your career?
Probably West Coast type of system a little bit more, but you play to your personnel. We ran Taysom on a little zone keep today, and we'll do more of that. Have packages for him when he's in, and so. You gotta, open your playbook and expand that to what guys can do best, and give them some opportunities, hopefully to be on the edge where it's not right up the middle like he did today. But he just played football, that's what he does. So, but I definitely think, I grew up with the West Coast type offense in high school with my dad, and then coming here, similar deal. And then Green Bay and everywhere I played in the NFL, for the most part, was West Coast. And so you have a lot of those similarities probably in some of our scheme, but concepts are concepts. Teams that aren't West Coast still run West Coast concepts, so it's all tied together. And so, but probably that influence and just the way we did things, and similar coaches everywhere I went, kind of from the same Mike Holmgren coaching tree. You learn a lot from that, and you apply a lot of those things to what we're doing here.
What's the best bit of advice you got from a former teammate or a former coach with you taking over a new role as a coach?
Well, Norm Chow told me throw it to the backs. So we made a living doing that with him. But I think, more than anything, people have just been real supportive, and hey, you'll be fine. They just try to give you confidence with some of the unknowns that are coming. The difference between high school and college, there'll be a little bit of learning curve, and you got to have more answers, and we'll get into that, but overall, guys have been real supportive, and we'll see if that continues when the games start.
It sounds like you're giving equal reps to Taysom and Tanner. Is that the case?
Yeah, right now we're working all combinations, trying to give them both with the different line combinations and different receiving groups, and so just so you can evaluate everybody where they need to catch balls from each of them, and so right now it's equal reps, working where we're at, just first week of camp, really week and a half, and so it seems like we've been in here longer, but when you look back, it's only been, I think, 7-8 days. So we're just trying to get each of them equal time so that we can really evaluate and just see where we're at with all of them.
Has one stepped ahead of the other, and do you anticipate that throughout fall camp they could be on equal ground and you figure it out on game week?
Yeah, I mean, right now they're both in it, learning it, and doing those things. So as coaches, you watch the film, but it's hard to evaluate. I mean, I've been on teams in the NFL where it was quarterback competition, and you kind of get to a point where it's like, how do you tell, really? I mean, he's working with this group, and then he's with this group, and when you're with that group, you're not as sharp because they're not as sharp, and so a lot goes into that. For me, it's knowing they understand it, knowing they know where to go with it. The execution part will come when you get really settled in with that same group all the time. And so I don't concern myself with a missed throw here or there or timing on a certain thing. I want to know what they were thinking and where they were looking to know they get it and they understand it.
In terms of the questions that you've been asked the most, other than who's the starting quarterback going to be, what's been the second most asked question?
How's it feel to be back? So it's been great. I enjoy Provo. I have great memories, and I've always, had a fondness for Provo, and so it's been fun to be back. We're settled in now, and the family's here, so it really feels like you've made the move.
What do you miss most about Texas?
The ranch. Can't get to the ranch on an off weekend. So that's the biggest thing. I mean, home's where you make it, and we've got great friends back there you miss, but I'm glad the family's here, and I've been busy enough here that I don't have time to miss a lot of things down there other than being able to get down there and just get away from things at the ranch for a little bit.
Let's finish with this. I proposed my first play of the season yesterday on BYU Sports Nation, and it was this. That yes, of
Something
course.
like that.
That Taysom, Hill takes the snap, dishes out to Tanner Mangum, and then throws deep. What do you think? That way you don't have to name a starter on the first play.
Well, that's true, but then we got to name it on the second play.
You'll do it eventually.
I know, so let's just do it the first play.
Oh, okay.
and have it done.
Okay.
Hey,
Heisman, he just stiff armed me. Boom, right there. That's how that works.
Ty, great to have you back. Thanks for the time.
yeah, always good. Thanks.